And we are back, finally, finally. Welcome to Pedal to the Metal F1 and welcome back Formula One. We missed you so much. We are so happy to have another F1 weekend. We had to wait 1 month. It's been long. For me, it's been very long. You know, it felt like a summer break. When you have like in August, with the difference that it's not summer. So I'm really, really happy that we have a new race, another race, and this weekend it's a sprint race as well. We have a sprint race and a new format for the sprint race. And so the weekend is divided like that. We have Friday with the free practice session early in the morning. Then in the afternoon on Friday, we had the qualifying with Leclerc securing pole position for Sunday's race. And today it's like a standalone sprint Saturday because in the morning we have the qualifying again, the sprint qualifying shootout, same format Q1, Q2, Q3 with the only difference that the driver have only one set of tires for each session to go through. And in the afternoon the sprint race. So today sprint race, Leclerc put it on pole again this morning, started on pole, Perez second, Verstappen third, and Sainz in fourth. And the start was excellent by Leclerc. Uh, start off the line very quick, and he managed to held off Perez for first couple of corners and so on. Also Russell had a great start, and but he was cheeky also because as soon as he got into turn one with Verstappen, he tapped him first time there and put Verstappen a bit off balance, and then in the second corner he tapped him again, and Verstappen lost the rear, and actually even he crashed a little bit into Verstappen, causing a hole into his side pod. That hindered his performance. And they also had a funny chit chat at the end where the Verstappen was arguing. Verstappen is very outspoken, so he was arguing with Russell about the move there. Russell tried to defend himself and apologizing, saying that his tires were cold, but Verstappen didn't want to hear any of it. And but let's go back to the sprint race. Um, that was the start, but then just like after a couple of laps, we had the incident for Yuki Tsunoda that he crashed into turn 13, and he caused a lot of debris, onto the track, and also one of the rear right tire fell off from the car and started to crawl on the track, and eventually stopped there, get stuck to the track. So they had to initially they deployed the virtual safety car, but then they had to deploy the full safety car and to remove the debris and the tire as well from the track. So at the restart of the after the safety car, Leclerc again had a great start, holding off Perez, and Verstappen this time just flew past Russell at first opportunity, first task into turn one, and regained back his third position. Meanwhile, behind there was a nice tussle between Sainz, who overtook Hamilton, and Alonso was also in this scrap and overtook Hamilton as well, which he was in P5, but then he eventually fell to P7 after this. And so after that, at least the first position, the top five, just stayed this way. Uh, uh, Besides, the only difference is that Perez, after the restart, was very close to Leclerc, and it didn't take him so long, to overtake him because Red Bull have a much quicker car, onto the straights, especially with the DRS, uh, which works very well on them. So this year Red Bull is a fast machine everywhere, in the corners, It has straight line speed, and the drag reduction system, the DRS, seems to work perfectly for them, because as soon as he was under 1 second to be able to open the wing, it just got very, very close to Leclerc, and then at the first task, on the long straight, it just flew past, over to Leclerc. And at first, Leclerc tried to, you know, to stick with him, stay into DRS range, into that second range, to be dragged by Perez. But then he started to uh, degrade his tires, and it was over for him. I mean, at least to win it. And I have to say that Leclerc really, he made an impressive drive to be able to finish P2, just behind Perez, and held off Verstappen. But you have to remember also that Verstappen had damage onto his side pod, and his technician also told him by radio that he had some floor damage after the scrap with Russell. So I bet that without those damages to the car, Verstappen would have passed Leclerc, and at least finished in P2. But this is what happened. Leclerc made a great, great race, sprint race, to finish in P2, and Verstappen finished in third, Russell in fourth, Sainz in fifth. Let's look at the standing, the final standing, to be sure what happened. So, oh yeah. And then Hamilton, no, actually Alonso finished in P6, Hamilton in P7, and Lance Stroll took the last spot for points in P8. And so it was a great race, to be honest. It was a great sprint race. Uh, just too bad Ferrari couldn't make it through, as you can see. As you can see, I'm a Ferrari supporter, so it was hard. But at least let's thank Leclerc to put on this show, and otherwise it would have been just the two Red Bull, and then a deep void, and then the rest of the field. At least thanks to Leclerc, we had for some laps some kind of fights, and so on. About tomorrow is the main venue, and of course Leclerc again starts on pole, but it would be very hard for him to secure victory, considering that Ferrari this year uh, they have a quick machine. They always had a fast machine, into qualifying on the one lap, let's say. But during the race, they are not so kind on the tires, unlike Red Bulls, that they are very kind on their tires. So I assume that by lap fifth or sixth, the Red Bull are going to be just 1-2 and fly off into the distance. So it would be good for Ferrari to try and score as many points as possible to to gain a bit of ground, compared to Aston Martin and Mercedes, that are respectively second and third. And we hope to see a great show, great fights, also you know, in the pack, in the midfield, and in the back. Usually, the best fights also are in the midfield. Today we saw some scraps between the Alpines and the Alfa Romeo. There were like 4 or 5 cars going into turn one, overtaking each other. So it was good to see. And let's hope for a bit more fighting out in front, because as things stand, Red Bull, they're just on another planet at the moment. So it will be really, really difficult for anyone to try and win a race. Um, we hope soon to have a reshuffle, of the pecking order, or at least a bit of a tighter, you know, field, especially out front, when we arrive in Europe, in the following races with the series of European races. And we know that every year at the European races, all team they start to bring a lot of upgrades. So we hope to see a bit of a tightening up of the field. Otherwise, it's going to be Red Bull 1-2 until the end of the year for sure. So, guys, I'm happy that we're back. We had just a short recap of what happened today, and I'll uh, I'll be back tomorrow for the race, live streaming, being here, probably alone talking to myself, but who cares? I hope that somebody is going to show up on this channel and exchange uh, their passion of Formula One together with me. So that's it for today, and I hope you have a great Saturday, and I'll see you back tomorrow afternoon for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix 2023. See you tomorrow, guys.